Just because we're recording now.
Come on. All right, I'm waiting for a chair because I feel really awkward standing. Somebody's here.
There's one right there.
How are we supposed to do this?
We're gonna scream all over each other.
Do I get to pick who asks me questions? Oh my God. Yes, ladies
Oh my
first.
God, no, thank you. So the dust has settled, the welcome back parties are over. You know, like, how is that moment like? You know, is this kind of like the defining moment of your career? Talk about how that match with Darby. Like, I just want to hear it all, and I know this is such a good moment.
Well, it's all downhill from here. I feel like I had two comebacks, right? There was the one at the United Center, and it was, you know, that's all fine and good, but there was really a hurdle to jump and to see if I could still, you know, get it done in the ring, if I ever could, you know. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like we accomplished that. So it's on to the next one. And to me, I feel great. I feel like I just wrestled my first match in 7 years. But it's a lot like a lot of the training I do in combat sports, and you know, I feel good. I'm happy. You know, I think that's the big thing that kind of resonates through all this, right? Like I'm just. I understand it's a different, you know, CM Punk, and some people might, you know, oh, where's angry Phil? I got fuck all to be angry about right now. I'm just happy, and I think people are happy that I'm happy. So I'm just gonna kind of ride that wave. You know, I'm still high as a kite, and I probably will be. I'll let you know when I'm not in.
Hey, you talked about Terry Funk and watching him and how much he's like kind of influenced you. And then him going into ECW and stuff like that, kind of redefining himself with like just like the new look kind of thing, and being kind of player coach into like Slapshot, like you've done lots of stuff. How do you feel like you kind of channeled him a lot with Terry Funk and what he's kind of taught you throughout the time?
I think, you know, I don't think Terry Funk gets the credit for being, you know, the wrestler he was. I don't think a lot of those guys do, but I also think it's a generational thing. There are very few people who were wrestling fans while certain people were hot, you know. I mean, how many people in this room have ever seen Terry Funk wrestle live? Okay, so there's a few of you, but how many saw him wrestle live when he was Terry Funk? I'm talking like NWA champion. I know you did. You're really dating yourself, but you know, and I think there's a lot of people out there that, you know, don't think I'm shit, and I think that makes my job a lot easier going forward because you know, I know who I am, and it's fun to be able to remind people.
Cool. So, what's next now for you? I mean, you're going to be a full-time pro wrestler. Are you going to work behind the scenes with the new generation? Do you think you have been an influential guy now that we are seeing Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson now in AEW?
That's a question for them. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you that I'm influential and I'm great. And you know, I was always just a kid who loved pro wrestling, and I wanted to do it. And you know, let's see how far we can take it. And somewhere along the line, you know, it wasn't fun for me anymore. And you know, when you're on the road over half the year, like not enjoying what you do. Takes its toll mentally and physically. So I'm stoked that I'm in a place now where, you know, I don't got to race to the next town and wrestle the next day. So if I am sore, banged up, I get to rest, I get to chill. I mean, thankfully I live here. I get to drive home and hang out with my wife and my dog. So that's probably the best part.
Hey, Pop.
Yes.
First off, congratulations on a great match tonight.
Well, thank you.
And my question is, now that you've beaten Darby, what is your next opponent that you're going to be trying to face?
I don't know. I don't have any plans. My next opponent is my dog at home. I got to take him on a walk, make sure he doesn't try to bite anybody. But I'm honestly kind of flabbergasted at the amount of talent in his locker room. You could put it up there with some of the more ridiculously stacked rosters of any era in different years, but like there's tons of people I want to get in the ring with. I've talked about it. Ricky Starks, Hobbs, Pillman Jr., Griff too. You know, those guys are in tag teams. I guess I have to find a tag partner if I want to, you know, mix it up with them. But Jungle Boy. Obviously Adam Cole, obviously Daniel Bryan. I've never wrestled Kenny Omega, I've never wrestled the Young Bucks. The sky is the limit.
You've talked a lot about, some of the talent that you've been wanting to work with. You just mentioned some right now. So being in the ring with Darby here today, what was the most surprising or unexpected thing that you learned while being in the ring with him?
Oh, gosh. I don't really know if anything was unexpected. I mean, I knew who I was getting in the ring with, There's a reason that he was the first guy I came back to wrestle. There's something about him. He's different. He's good. And in the hierarchy of AEW, it wouldn't make any sense for CM Punk to come right in and go after Kenny Omega. Doesn't mean that Darby is any less talented. It's just if there is a hierarchy of wins and losses and where people are. I thought Darby was a great start because he's a great opponent. The fans love him, and I thought that we did a great job of not trying to sway that. Hopefully, to me, pro wrestling is the best when everybody involved in something comes out looking better, and hopefully we accomplish that.
So how do you feel about Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole being with AEW now? What's that mean to you?
I mean,
Sorry about that.
Someone at the top?
Sorry, buddy.
Pardon my lewdness. I got a boner for that. Honestly, I feel everybody has their own journey and their own story and their own experiences where we used to work, and but I heard him say it. I left and I don't got a lot of good things to say. He left and he says he loved the place. But what does it mean when you love that place but you still don't want to be there? You want to be here. I think that speaks volumes. Adam Cole is a guy that I've never wrestled. I know I'm going to sometime. I look forward to it. Daniel Bryan is a guy I have wrestled, and I feel like that's somewhere down the line too. It's literally I'm a kid at Christmas. I unwrap a gift. I don't know what's in it. It could be Adam Cole, it could be Daniel Bryan, it could be Kenny Omega, it could be the Young Bucks, it could be Will Hobbs, it could be Ricky Starks. It's just endless. I'm so happy right now.
Did you get any feedback from Tony or anybody else about the Daniel Bryan reference in your promo a couple weeks ago?
No. That was. I think you saw me live. Go. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
It was fine.
It was fine. It was fine. I think I didn't remember immediately, and then I ran back a couple matches later, and I was like, I think I mentioned it, but it was fine.
I told him I think it's going to be okay, man.
I think we've been doing a good job with really poorly kept secrets. That, I think the fans here just want to have a good time. So it's not so much about trying to shuck somebody in the back door, draped in a curtain and hide them from everybody. But I think we do a really good job with surprises.
Punk, how much have you spoken to Brian since all this stuff has been going on?
I talked to him. No, I talked to him today. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. Like, I didn't want to reach out to him and be like, hey, I know you're coming, brother. Because I knew I would see him today and I would talk to him. And I waited until he was done doing his thing, and I gave him a big hug. And it's just exciting. It's just it's exciting to be here right now.
Did you guys say anything to each other during that hug?
What's that?
Did you guys say anything to each other during that
Yeah, I said good promo.
To both of you guys, we talk all the time about Paul and Nash and Hogan changing business in that one moment. We saw one hell of a moment here tonight. What kind of tangible effect do you believe that will have on the industry going forward?
Gosh. Obviously, I think it's going to be very impactful. I'm not personally in the business of a war or competing. I know who competition is and who competition isn't. To me, we focus on ourselves. We focus on the talent we have, and we focus on the people in the building, and I think that's how we grow. It's not about throwing stones, and I know TNT loves ratings, and I know everybody's going to look at stuff and compare the two. For a company that's only been around for 2 years, I think they're doing great. And if you're competing with somebody on another night that's got a 30-year head start, well, that's fine. But to me, our competition is our audience. And as long as we keep them engaged and keep them happy, and I think that to bring it back around, that's what we're doing. So I'm not Hogan, I'm not Savage, you know, Daniel Bryan and Mike and Adam Cole, they're not the outsiders. I see the parallels. This is totally different, and I'll go ahead and say it, and people can quote me, they'll be pissed off about it. To me, this is bigger.
How would you rate your performance tonight? Or is it really too early? You need to really look back at the match and be like,
How would you rate my performance?
10 stars. I don't know what kind of scale.
Out of 20? Come on.
In all honesty, I would say an 8, just because it seemed like no, I'm being honest, because it seemed like in a little bit there, you got a little. You can tell you were windy in the ring in 7 minutes. That's maybe brutally honest. But the match was really.
Did it look like I haven't wrestled in 7 years?
Cardio, beyond cardio. You look great.
So, you speak a lot about happiness, right?
Yes.
And you are obviously thrilled every time you come out to the ring. You've got the crowd around you. You're surfing into the crowd, and there's just a lot of joy around. And that extends both from the audience to kids and adults and us and people watching to you. When you're in the locker room, who are you the most happy to speak with, to work with, to share your knowledge with, or to learn something new from right now in AEW?
Everybody. You know, I mean, Sting came up to me today, and you know, I don't think these guys are lying. But Sting was just like, you know, it reminded me, your match with Darby reminded me of what Flair did for me. You know, when I went 45 minutes with him, was it in Greensboro?
Greensboro.
Yeah. I mean, that's a quote from him, and like, I don't think the dude's gonna lie to me, and that means something to a kid like me, you know. Sting and I put together our segment from Dynamite the other day, and it was just refreshing to have him be like, "Well, no, what do you think?" And I was like, "No, what do you think?" And we went, you know, we did the respectful thing, and then we came together, and I thought, grew our ideas together and made a pretty good segment. And so I'm learning from Sting, which is wild. And there's familiar faces. There's Arn, there's Dean, there's guys like that I will always default to. Guys, what do you think? Jim Ross, what do you think? You know? But I do see younger guys defaulting to me. And, you know, I do think that is you know, a lot of people will tell you that, oh, I love the business, but you know, you got to give back to the business and this and this. I just think it happens organically. If somebody, I'm here to help somebody if they want the help, but I'm also still learning. There was a point where I was like, I'm not learning anything. This isn't any fun, and that's when you know you got to get out. And now I'm back and I'm around creative people that are happy to come to work, and it's a fun, great learning environment.
Tony, can you believe that you did this? Because you're every one of us, right? Only you had money to do this.
I'm not a White Sox fan.
That's right. Hey, it's your boy Ed Getting here. CM Punk, my boy. Tony, can you believe you pulled this off? Like, you changed the industry.
I didn't. It wasn't. It was everyone. I mean,
It's
it was a group
everyone,
of
but-
great people, and especially the fans. I mean, it
That's
wouldn't have been possible without all of you, all the great wrestling fans. That everyone made it possible.
But no one, when you look around, you're from this area. When you look around at what this is, I mean, do you ever just like smell the roses? No one else could have done what you did.
I
You're
don't
a
know.
real
if that's-
wrestling fan who had the means to do this.
Nobody else could have.
Nobody else could have done it.
So that is.
I guess it is.
That is legit.
It's official. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr.
Well, Tony, how are you feeling right now?
I've never felt better in my entire life. It's the greatest feeling in my entire life. I've never felt better. I can't believe we pulled it off, and this has been a long time. Like Mr. Punk said, it's been almost 2 years in the making. So it's pretty special, and thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank
Tony,
you.
Tony, the word we're all hearing on social media tonight is perfection. And I
Oh.
want to know what you think now that do you feel like you've climbed Mount Everest tonight? Because this was an amazing show in front of a hot crowd that could not have been happier walking out. Is there a letdown for a creative guy like yourself after a night like
It always feels like, I mean, if you plan something and it comes off exactly like you wanted it to come off, which is great, and it's great, then that's the best feeling in the world. I've worked in sports a long time, and I've had some great moments in sports, and playoff wins, beating the Steelers in Pittsburgh in the playoffs, and this is one of the best feelings in the world. I can't compare it to anything, and it came off perfectly. It is whatever the opposite of a letdown is. This is the opposite of a letdown. Thank you.
Tony, can you
Sorry.
Last question, and then we're gonna.
Can I-
buy
can I-
the Bears?
Well, last question I would use it for. Don't ask me. Use it for Punk. Because,
Okay.
Tony, can
Okay.
I ask the last question really quick?
Yeah, but ask him because I'm staying.
She already asked me a question.
Oh, then it's somebody else. Then ask
No,
him.
no,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no.
Give Punk 2 more questions.
Okay, two real quick questions. Okay, number one is that what was the day or frame where it flipped the switch where you decided I'm gonna come?
I don't know. I would have to. There for sure was a day, but I'd have to think back on that.
But around one, you know, like.
You know, I mean, they were in the middle of the pandemic. I've already said it that the locker room and the situation with Brody Lee's passing, I think, made me really go, oh, that's different. You know, just people being respectful and tight-lipped about a personal situation where there's kids and a wife involved. Like I was floored. I was friends with Brody. You know what I mean? So it's just like that means a lot, and it goes far with a guy like me, who came up in this business, and you always hear things like, oh, the boys, the family, it's your family, it's your family. It's never ever been like that. People will use that to their advantage and take advantage of other people, and to actually see that, but them not boasting about it, to me, was special. And then you see that, and you're like, oh man, maybe there's something to that. You know, maybe it's not all the negative stuff that I remember from being in a locker room. I'd have to really think, but that was the big one. Honestly, that was the big one, because that you know, I remember just texting Tony and just being like, I'm amazed that this got out. You know, like what a tragic thing, and everybody kept it secret, and that went a long way with it.
And then one other thing is, this is a match that like nobody's really thought of, but tonight when you went face to face with Sting, it's like, okay, you grew up, Sting was a big star. Sting's, you know, at a certain age, I don't know, but is there something like a bucket list thing where I'd love to have this on my resume that I once wrestled on a pay-per-view with Sting, or I once wrestled in a big match with Sting?
I've had such, I hate saying the word blessed. I'm not a religious guy. I've had such an amazing life where I've found myself in situations where I would just always kind of look around and think, man, this is wild. And without ever having a bucket list, it'd be hard for me to write things down on the bucket list because I've done so many cool things. But that's one of them. That's a bucket list thing. It's an item that I never thought I would, you know, because your brain doesn't go there. We're never in the same company at the same time. We're two different generations of wrestler, and you never thought it was possible. And now it's just like it is, and that's kind of how I feel about the entire groundswell of AEW as a whole. You know, like you got me and Darby and Sting in a ring, and it's legitimately 3 different generations. You know, and the knowledge of wealth he brings. Yeah, I mean, it's a bucket list item now. I think for sure down the line we're probably going to tag, you know what I mean? Like that feels like there's something there, and you know, there's real organic moments here, like him coming out and shaking my hand. We didn't talk about that. That wasn't a planned thing. He came out and he did it, and before I shook his hand, I looked him in the eye and I was like, this means something to a kid like me. And he said, it means something to me too. You know, and that's wild to me, and that's the playground we have here, where we could do all the stuff that you didn't ever think possible.
Tony,
Thank you very much.
I'm saying, and thank you. I just I would like to publicly in front of everyone say one more time, thank you on behalf of AEW and all the wrestling fans worldwide to you, CM Punk. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Punk.
I think that was it. I mean, you guys, we're doing more. If anybody has any further questions, I don't know if we could take one more.
I got one.
What?
As someone who loves Chicago as much as you do, you're wearing the stars on your trunks.
Yeah.
Ricky, what does it mean to you that Chicago has become one of the hub cities for AEW?
I mean, it means everything, you know. I know people groan and say, you can't compare him to Michael Jordan. You know what? We sold out the United Center on rumor. You know what I mean? Like, if I could toot my own horn, I'm a kid from Chicago, and I don't know if I can claim I sold out this building because I think it was sold out before I was ever announced. But I sold out the United Center. I sold out the Rosemont Horizon. Like man, that's super great, and I would like to brag on that, but it's also super humbling for a kid who, you know, I was at the first show ever at the United Center, the first ever event, SummerSlam 1994. I watched Bret Hart in the cage, you know, and for Chicago, I mean, I feel like Chicago has just been ripe for the taking. They love wrestling and they want to be entertained. And there's been some great shows here. I was on them. I was on a few of them. And then, you know, I just feel like we got the pulse of the whole place. You know, like to me, I mean, what's next? Wrigley Field, Soldier Field. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. And you guys, thank you all very much. And again, I have to say that none of this would have been possible tonight. We were, you know, the company had been doing great. We had a lot of momentum. We were very hot. But the person who made us reaching these new high heights, bringing this new interest, and changing our company and changing all of our lives is CM Punk. And thank you very much. No, you coming here changed all of our lives. Everybody in this company, you changed it for all of us. You made it better for all of us. Thank you.
I'm leaving.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Punk.
Thanks,
guys.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you.
CM Punk.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.